Richards trying to scoot in there alone. It pinballs to the crease.
Let's get it.
Oh my God! Here we go.
You're listening to the Pod Street Bullies podcast with your hosts, Derek.
How you gonna get it, Bobby?
John. Matt Casey.
Unnecessary, but totally necessary.
And Cody.
What's not to love?
What's happening, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Pod Street Bullies. My name is Derek.
And I'm John. What's going on, everybody?
And we have a full cast tonight. Hoagie's here on his phone. Wake up. Time to go.
What's going on? We got
I'm from Lady May's basement.
we got hotel coverage right here.
Hotel Hoagie. And Matt Casey's with us. What's up, Matt?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
All right. Well, we talked about this shortly here before the episode started, and there is one of us, not going to give anybody any time to guess, one of us that is feeling really down about how the Flyers have played these past two games. So this past weekend, I'm not going to say who. I'm just going to give them the floor right now, and I want them to air their
not
grievance.
who you think it is.
Right.
Right.
It's the last
So,
person.
Would the real negative Nancy
Please stand
please
up.
stand up?
Malaise Matt is in here. Guys, I am by far the most optimistic of the group, like day in
It's
and
not
day out.
saying much, brother.
Not anymore.
I know. But what I will say, in the last 8 days, we have dropped 3 conference games in regulation, which has playoff implications, it has morale implications, and it just pisses me off to live in New Jersey, commute into New York, and have to deal with these freaking scumbags all day long. And I got texts galore last night from Rangers fans. I'm like, you don't even know the name of your coach. Shut up.
Right.
Corporate half-ass. You know.
The Rangers.
My
Should have
friend,
said this
the
is meant to
Rangers
be
are no joke
uninterrupted.
this year. And I'm not turning my back on this team, but this is a harsh reality of where we are right now. And these 3 games were like a measuring point where we could have put the nail in Pittsburgh's coffin today. Couldn't do it. We could have, tightened the gap a little bit between us and Carolina yesterday with a Rangers win. Couldn't do it. Rangers are about to lose to Columbus, by the way. And
Parody.
so I'm frustrated. I'm not annoyed at the way they're playing. I'm not annoyed at the effort. It's just the expectations of this team weren't high. That doesn't mean that I didn't have high expectations for this team, though. And it's finally coming to fruition that it's like, hey now, the dream is over. Hey now, the dream is over.
This is what dreams are made of.
Hey now, don't dream it's over. So anyway, that's my rant.
Was that Nickelback or Creed?
Oh, God. That's the only thing that makes me happy these days is it Nickelback or Creed?
This is how you remind me. All right. Well, so that was Matt Casey, for those of you that are unaware. Arguably the most positive of us 4. But again, to John's point, not saying much. I get it. Certainly get it. I'm a little peeved. I'm not going to lie. But, I think there's one move this team needs to make that could flip this around a little bit for me, which we are going to get into a little bit later. But, John, we're going to kind of continue the trend here of, 2-3 minute uninterrupted little
I mean, you guys can interrupt me. I
Thing.
interrupt you all the time.
That is
That's
true.
okay.
So you go
Yeah, but even
until I
if we
feel like
try, you
interrupting
don't
you.
let us.
Well, right. I mean,
Sure.
I'm a teacher.
wait a second,
People
man. I
try
gotta-
to interrupt me all the time. I have to.
Well, I just
continue
want to make a
talk over
point.
them.
Wait a second. I just got to make a point here real quick before I lose it.
Oh, hold on.
I mean,
Ollie Lexell.
Bobby Brink.
I mean, I know that we call Casey
26-year-old prospects.
the optimistic one. I'd like to argue it's a little bit more delusional than optimistic most of the time. But
Ooh,
I'm just swinging shade to the other Matt for once.
casting arrows left and right here.
I don't know. I mean, I think Casey, you're being a little too extreme. I didn't hate the game against the Rangers. I thought that they played pretty well. I actually think that
Agreed. Agreed.
from-
I'm not arguing that.
right. I think that my issues come with this past game. A team like the Flyers can't score 6 goals and lose a game.
Yeah.
It just
That's
happens.
insanity.
Never score 6 goals. And now all of a sudden we have a 6-goal game and we lose 7-6.
Mhm.
And I think that my other issue is the one that's like we joke about every year, but it's the power play. We cannot continue to suck this bad on the power play. The opportunities that we are given,
When Ollie Lexell, and I'm actually not kidding, when Lexell and Paling and Hathaway, that was our that was our best power play today.
right? I mean, it's just like I know how great we are on the penalty kill and how many shorthanded goals we are, but when I'm legitimately more excited when our team is killing a penalty than we're on the power play, there's a huge freaking problem with that. I mean, we're gonna get into the goaltending issue in a little bit, but it's just like this was a game that we did everything we could to win the game, and we still lost.
Mm-hmm.
Fair point.
And I think like we could have used maybe one of those goals yesterday against New York,
Or two.
but I just feel like we are a playoff team. I'm sticking with. I do think this team is going to make the playoffs, but we're just not that good enough to be like a team that can win a round. Like this is a great story. We are, overachieving by everyone's standards, but it's like we clearly have so much more room that we have to get better. I mean, this is not a team that's going to do anything in the playoffs. We're going to get outplayed by not outplayed, but outperformed, I guess.
Outclassed.
But yeah, today was just frustrating.
So
I think I want to clarify. Like, I have no problem with the way they, even today, as like slumbering as they were, you're like, okay, you coming off a back-to-back with travel to Pittsburgh, which is only an hour flight or whatever it is.
Right.
But
Christ, not even.
You said it. You're scoring 6 goals and you're not getting the win. Yesterday, you played probably one of the tightest, best games that you've played, and you're a goalpost and an eighth of an inch Couturier buzzer beater away from tying that thing.
Mhm.
I'm not upset at the way they're playing. You can't ignore the results of the 3 conference losses in a row.
Right.
Division.
So
Division losses. I'm sorry.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'll point out that about a minute ago, Hoagie had a look on his face like he was just ready to go, like that smirk on his face. So, Hoagie, your thoughts?
No, but honestly, the Chicago game I thought was a great bounce back game from the Stadium Series game. They took the Blackhawks where they should have taken them, to the graveyard. The Blackhawks sucked. They have an all-star in Connor Bedard, but they handled business. Coming into this weekend, we all knew it was 2 big games, and for them to leave all the points on the board to divisional rivals, that really sucks. I'm really starting to hate the Rangers fans and just everybody, coming into the Wells Fargo. That's getting old. And I got into it with some people on the Bird app saying, "Oh, well, ticket prices are too expensive." Who cares? Go support your team. Like, come on.
I mean, let's be real though. I don't know if you've ever been to Madison Square Garden. Like, it is a corporate event. It is not like a diehard sporting event. It's where
Right.
Chase corporate goes and
It's where you take your customers.
Yeah,
their
it's
business.
Let's catch the Rangers game tonight. Have a couple cocktails. It's a Matt Casey event.
I do not go to Rangers games paying. That's for sure.
right.
It is corporate hospitality or John Gove shaking down his students.
Yeah. So Casey brought up an interesting point about you don't really hate this game versus that game, whatever. Or it might have been John. I can't remember, but
both of them.
I didn't really hate either game. I'm not going to lie. I didn't hate the Rangers game because of the effort. It was a solid effort. They just ran into a very good Rangers team. They won 10. That was their 10th straight win, if I'm not mistaken. So okay, you ran into a little bit of a buzzsaw there. So be it. I didn't hate the Pens game. I hated it more than the Rangers game, but I didn't necessarily hate it because Forrester had 2 goals. This is his second game back from injury. There's positives to draw from it, but what I despised is the fact that the Pittsburgh Penguins power play is equally as bad as the Flyers, maybe a little bit better, but literally one place above them in the standings. And they had, I think, 2 power play goals. Or was it 3 by the end of the game?
I don't know.
For a penalty kill that's second best in the league, to give that up to such a piss-poor power play unit, that to me is very concerning. And I mean, I'm not going to really get into personnel, whatever it might be. It worked. Now, they had a shorthanded goal. Lawton, I think it was the second of the game. Fantastic.
Beautiful.
Right. That's what you would expect. Awesome. I'm glad to see it. But putting up 6 goals and losing, that's not a recipe for success. There's not a recipe for success at all.
Softball game 7-6.
Yeah, right.
Well, it's a Hoagie beer league game right there.
What it did remind me of is games past where the Flyers and Pens would always, and I mean always, it was a 7-6 game. It was like a 6-5 game, 8-3. I think the one playoff game was those old school games. And it got chippy. The whole thing with whoever the hell that, Bush Leaguer guy was that hit Drysdale. I couldn't even tell you his name because the Penguins have at least 4 or 5 every year. You're like, oh, Stu Davis, he comes in and scores 40 goals,
Yeah, but everybody knows the Rangers 4th line goon and Matt Rempe now after his first 4 freaking games.
Yeah, well, did you see the way him and
apparently got tuned up tonight?
Yeah,
he got tuned up.
Who did he toss it with the Islanders?
Was it Martin or Clutterbuck?
Yeah, it was Martin, and then
Martin,
he had Delorier, and then tonight everyone's just like, all right, you little fucker.
Everybody wants a piece of him.
Yeah.
Like Doug Glatt and Goon, everybody wants a piece of him. Just let's see how tough this guy is.
I'm in the group chat with a Rangers fan. He's like, if he was on the Flyers, you'd love him. I'm like, no, I wouldn't. He's a 21-year-old goon who's 6'7".
Yeah, we would love him.
I know. I would hate him. He
100%.
can't skate. He can't skate. He can't play the game of hockey. Come on.
Or does he have more penalty
winning goal?
Does he have more pentalty minutes than he has playing time? I think it's really close.
10 minutes of playing time, 27 minutes of penalty minutes.
He's probably up to 35 something penalty minutes now.
Just from tonight, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? Hey, good for him. Whatever. I mean, if they're gonna waste the roster spot on a guy like that, that's the Rangers' decision.
They have that luxury at this point, man.
We're gonna stop talking about him in 15 games. It's just one of those things. And ESPN is gonna overcover it. Emily Kaplan's in there talking about him, and then.
And that's
by
when
the
everyone
way,
loses
no
interest.
response to my comparison.
I died.
Kaplan
I showed it to the wife.
Debbie Downer, Rachel Trash is like.
The wife died. She appreciated it.
I love. She's just like Danny Briere. Are you going to trade Scott Lawton?
It's like what?
Yes.
Yes. It's like, can you read the state? We are still in there, despite my pessimism. We're still in there. We're still 5 points up on the Devils with the exact same games exact same games left.
Right.
Why are you talking? We're not talking about trading, Devils players, right? I don't know. This whole thing just irks me, but it's really going to irk me when we actually trade players.
Right. Now,
and they're right.
getting into some of the decisions here from this past week, and obviously, you start Urson against Chicago, he's fresh, and then you have a big long layoff until the Rangers game. I'll start with you, John. Are you comfortable with the decision to start Urson against the Rangers and Peterson against the Pens?
I mean, you had to. Urson, the Rangers were the better team. They were just won 9 in a row. Urson's your number one. You want to show him that gesture, you have to start him against the Rangers. I wish you could have gone today, too. To be honest.
Right.
I mean, I think that they made the right decision to start him against the Rangers, but I wish we had somebody else to play against the Penguins.
Right. Matt Casey?
Yeah, I don't think you can fault anyone for that rotation decision there, but it's evident tonight. Like you can't get beat 3 times on the short side.
Oh my God!
I mean, this is the first game I think since 2019 that I actually threw something. I threw the remote against the couch and yelled "fuck." In the basement here.
I'm so glad I didn't watch the game then.
And I was just like, "Are you got to be kidding me?" Every time we get closer to the game, we botch it on a short side goal. So I don't think. Maybe Peterson needs a little bit more burn, and maybe that'll get him going. But god damn, man, that was tough.
Yeah, that was rough. I mean, what do you think, Hogan?
I can't even remember.
I thought you answered it.
Yeah,
right. You did.
Goalie choice. Urson against the Rangers, Peterson against the Penguins. Hoagie, right call?
Honestly, I'm even thinking like, even if Hart was here, what type of call they would make there?
Don't say
I'm
his
saying
name.
I'm bringing it up. It's conversation. I'm not afraid.
Perp number 1827.
No, I'm just thinking back. Like I feel like you would give Harrison the Rangers and Hart the Penguins because I think Hart sucks against the Rangers. Honestly, so
yeah, I feel like every goalie sucks against the Rangers when you're playing with the Flyers.
Yeah, well, honestly, Harrison really shut the door on him. He played out of his mind. He kept us in the game.
Didn't score 40 goals or whatever.
Or Panarin, he played really, really well yesterday. So it was the right choice.
The whole team played unbelievable. Can we talk about this? Can we talk about this for 1 second? Not the sidetrack. What was the deal with the ref lecturing Farabee?
That was bullshit. That was a bullshit call.
That was such bullshit.
Was that today or was that last night?
That was yesterday.
Okay, I thought I saw a clip of it.
Interference.
Yeah, I saw a clip of it during the broadcast today. Was the ref lecturing him again? Like, I'm assuming, obviously.
No. That was on the bench today. But he was having a conversation. So Farabee got called for the
interference.
Goalie lost his stick. And Farabee apparently kicked his stick, which you looked at the replay and that didn't happen. He was pushed into it. You're not going to go out of the way to be like, here's your stick, Russian comrade.
You dropped it. Hold on to your stick.
Farabee stayed in the same exact
Code read that dude. Put some glue in his hands and have him put it in there.
The dude from the Replacements.
But frankly, you have Farabee. You have Farabee in the box being like, what was that? And he got caught on camera being like, what was the fucking call? And I'm quoting here. I'm not dropping F-bombs.
We don't just say the
F-bombs.
Oh God.
Casey's on the handle tonight.
What's gonna happen when our listenership goes to explicit status?
Every now and then I'll put up an explicit episode. Like this one will probably be explicit.
And the ref came over and opened the door and lectured Farabee. And
listen here, young man.
Dude, go. I make millions of dollars. Go away. Go back to the WHL.
Kick rocks.
Do you think he realized he botched the call and he was just getting a little defensive?
Listen, 100%. I know I messed up, but I don't need to hear.
I've never seen that before.
No. And it was you see that in the heat of the moment. It was during a face-off. He's like, no, stop the face-off. I'm gonna skate over here. I'm a man, damn it. Mama told me I'm a man.
You only see that type of stuff from refs in middle school, high school, college.
Right, where they tell you to cool it. Because
when you have a 16-year-old kid blowing off his head because he thinks he's right and the ref's wrong.
Right.
And I have never seen that in the NHL. And you could tell Fairby was like, "Oh shit, I'm getting reprimanded right now." Like he shut up right away.
It's not like Fairby flew off the handle like a kid would. Like these are men; they can temper their their emotions. They're not just gonna. Some of them fly off the handle. Don't get me wrong, but like it's like that whole call, dude. I don't even know if I want to get into it because I don't know if I'll be able to temper my emotions.
Fun fact: when I was playing like squirt, so what is that, like 5th grade or something like that? I don't know.
Yeah.
And I got a penalty, and the ref was like yelling at me about something. I told him he was cute when he was angry. Boom, 10-minute misconduct.
I feel like that's the right way to handle
worth
that.
the laugh.
100% worth it. Like that's the type of reaction I would probably give to. Just be like, hey,
my dad was like, that was the most shameful and prideful moment I've ever had.
Yeah,
right. You want to put them in a spot where they don't know how to respond. Right. Like that. Exactly. If you just,
I guess what he responded.
He responded and said, yep.
Whatever. He went back to his one room.
So if we're going to keep on rolling with the goalie talk here, I'm just going to put it bluntly, guys. We need to find a better backup. There's no excuse and there's no reason Cal Peterson should be with the Flyers moving forward. I understand he's only played 4 games. I guess given the circumstances with Hart and what's going on with that, Urson's played up to it. That's not an excuse to me for Peterson. So internally, there's nothing left unless we want to bring up Sandstrom again, which I think Sandstrom's a better option than Peterson.
Is he doing that badly? I heard he got tuned up in
Sandstrom.
Yeah, in
wouldn't be surprised.
Chesapeake Bay or something like that the other night.
down in Tacoma. I think Sandstrom's a better option at this point, but that's not saying much by any means.
Where's Brian Elliott?
Sitting at home watching and laughing about this.
Waiting for our call.
Yeah,
we might as well just put Boosh in at this point.
I wonder if he'd come back.
Derek, we need a better option.
Boosh.
But what is it? I mean,
at this point, I have no idea. Right.
It's got to be a move. It's got to be a trade. There's
for who?
Yeah, but they're not going to do that right now. There's no way.
Well,
they're not trading for a goalie.
Martin Jones.
We talked. John brings up a good point here. We talked about this a couple weeks ago. The goalie market, you're not giving up premium assets for goalies when it comes to the trade deadline. You might part ways with a 4th or a 5th.
Michkov at a 3rd.
That might get you Slavkovsky.
He doesn't play goal. What is that going to do for us?
It's more of a joke. You're not on Twitter anymore, so you don't get it.
No, I don't.
Grant McKegg has been a complete tool about
Slavkovsky. Let's have a little sidebar here. John, I'll explain this so you can opine here.
Sure.
Grant McKegg is the one guy.
Yeah, I know who he is.
Yeah, he's a tool.
I don't know who he is. Who is he?
He writes for the Habs.
He likes to write about prospects.
I'd be upset if my name was Grant McKegg.
right. Like that.
And I'm writing about prospects, not even real players. It's oh man.
The drum that he's beating is essentially comparing Michkov to Slavkovsky because now the whole Reinbacher versus Michkov ship has sailed because Michkov's better than Reinbacher. And now he's taking to comparing the number 1 pick the year before to Michkov. So everybody's crawling at this guy, just being like, you're an idiot. Stop. And Habs fans are all like, oh, Slavkovsky's so great. And that's fine. I think he's going to be a fine player. Yeah. But the level of coping that is coming out of Montreal regarding Michkov's pick because the Habs passed on him.
They passed on him, yeah.
Right. Yep. It's pathetic at this point. I mean, again, without knowing too much about it, John, what do you think about this crap?
I think people do it to get attention.
True.
I mean, we're talking about it right now, so he did a good job.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, don't go quote tweet him anymore. He's gotten too much attention as it is.
Yeah. That's what my kids have to do. After
I'm not on Twitter or X or whatever the hell you guys are calling it these days.
Burnout.
Oh, what? You quit yesterday,
get
and now
on
you're
with
like, you kids.
I'm on during games just to see what people are talking about when I'm angry. But that's it.
All right, Hoagie, you're a little bit more informed than John and Casey here. What are your thoughts on that crap?
Informed?
Whoa!
What?
When you paid $9.99 for 24 hours of internet in your hotel. Yeah.
Oh,
I'm missing
sorry.
the point here.
He read a tweet by Grant McCagg.
Oh,
and we
get back
didn't.
on Twitter. Get back on Twitter. You'll know what we're talking about.
I'm not an expert in McCagg.
Kagan, these.
I'm Hoagie. I've got my doctorate in McCagg.
I hate this.
I'm passing on this one. I don't want to talk about it.
All right, let's get back to that.
That's the name of the episode, guys. A doctorate in McCagg.
I'm not bringing any more attention to that guy. Oh boy, I don't even know where to go from here right now. So again, backup goalie. I mean, in terms of what we're going to give up here, I had mentioned 4th, 5th round pick.
Mm-hmm.
Just in you had mentioned Martin Jones, John. Let's talk about him specifically. Are you comfortable bringing him back?
I mean,
Cal
I got to be
Peterson,
honest with you.
1-for-1.
I couldn't really tell you what he's been doing, right? But who's he with?
I have no idea. He's San Jose or something like that. I don't know.
Wasn't he? Well, actually, wasn't he with
we got him
Toronto?
with him.
Or did I make that?
Seattle.
Seattle. I mean, listen, I guess if he was playing well enough, it's somebody who's familiar with Tortorella and the system. Somebody like that would make sense.
He's with Toronto right now.
Yeah.
Who's he with? Seattle or Toronto?
He's with
We just said
Toronto right now.
Toronto.
Jesus.
He's too busy reading his McCagg.
He was with Seattle last
Getting his
season. He's with
doctorate.
Toronto this year. He's got a 907
It's been
save
2
percentage.
seasons since we had him?
271.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, 20 games though. He's 11-7-1. So his stats are good.
Yeah, but he's playing with Toronto.
Do we play
I don't know if
them-
Toronto would be willing to part with him. That's the thing. Like they're not willing to give up rostered players at this point because they're making a push.
Playoff push. Yeah. I mean,
Right.
listen, I think it's one of those things where it's like, yes, theoretically, we should look for an upgrade at backup goalie. I just don't know what's there. Like, to me, that's something that can get addressed in the offseason. I would give Cal Peterson one more shot. And if he sucks again, then you just swap him with Sandstrom. I mean, it can't get any worse, right? So you just see how it goes. And then hopefully you could just ride Urson to round 1 of the playoffs and then call it a success.
Right.
I mean, realistically, you got to give Peterson or whoever the backup is, you got to give him 5 games.
Right.
5 games coming up in the next 6 weeks or whatever,
Right.
whatever it ends up being. Like, you're looking at the back-to-backs as the easy ones, but then you have like
We have
goddamn,
we have 3 back-to-backs.
3 back-to-backs, and then you have like Chicago and Montreal in 1 week. I think we have San Jose in there somewhere. Like our schedule is not easy, by the way. Like, and that's what has me really kind of messed up in the head, is that we don't have like a puffy schedule.
Right.
But
it's both hard and easy at the same time, honestly.
It's easy from a travel standpoint. It's hard as shit from a like
divisional
standing
conference.
Because don't we play the Rangers at least 2 more times or something like that?
We play the Rangers 2 more times. We have the Bruins twice. We have the Maple Leafs twice.
Oh, good.
Florida, Tampa Bay,
Ottawa.
It's a rough schedule,
right,
in terms of teams.
And I feel like if you're the team, you want to give Urson at least one easy opponent. You know, like you don't want to have to put him against all the teams that could potentially light him up.
Yeah, I mean that could really hit the confidence there.
Honestly, this week you have Capitals and Senators. That might be a good back to back to really kind of get it going. Because I mean the Senators are out of a playoff spot, but you can still kind of
right now in terms of goalies that are potentially available here. Your top of the line that you're looking at. There's a lot of talk about UC Saros with Nashville. There's a lot of talk about Jake Allen too with Montreal. Those guys, obviously, it's going to be a bit higher than a 4th round pick. So, like,
when it wouldn't make any sense.
Exactly, they're starters.
Right.
You could argue Jake Allen. I don't know what
He's
Montreal's
had to be
right,
for
because they've got like
Montreal.
Montembeau and Caden Primo is playing up there as well.
Now Montembeau, not today. That's
Mutombo. Are you kidding me right now? This is
What
it.
just
We're
happened?
done.
Dikembe Mutombo.
How?
Montembeau.
Like,
How do you?
okay, not to be like,
confuse the two?
not to like profile, but like, yeah, we know that guy's not a hockey player, right?
Maybe it was a cousin or something. I don't know.
No, sorry, Hoagie, I'm looking at the schedule, man. You're right. Like, we have Washington, Ottawa, St. Louis. Like, I'm arguing we give Peterson 2 of the 3 of those games.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going
Which two?
Washington, and then I give him St. Louis. And I give Urson Ottawa.
So give Urson the easier of the 3.
Yeah, but it's on the Ottawa's the back-to-back one. He's on the back half of the back-to-back.
Okay.
So
And whenever we play Giroux, we got to bring the guy.
yeah. And then St. Louis is and then you have Florida, Tampa, San Jose.
San Jose.
Give him San Jose. Then you have Toronto, Boston. You got to give them both of those.
Wait. You have Toronto, Boston, Toronto, Carolina, Boston.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Florida.
And then Florida on the back-to-back.
Ooh,
And
great.
And then Rangers.
Oh, Jesus Christ, dude. This makes me
All right,
sick.
Casey, I'm starting to get it a little bit more.
Yeah, right?
Jesus.
There's going to be 2 weeks of just
this
brutal
thing.
hockey.
And you guys are now just getting there. I've got
Nope.
It's like
I
Rain
know.
Man over here.
Listen, when McDavid scored the hat trick against us, I literally said in the hi my group chat, I was like, "Hey guys, we
Matthews?
still have them."
Matthews or
Who
McDavid.
did I say?
You said
Dave.
I keep
McDavid.
confusing the two for some reason. I don't know why
Yeah,
I
because they
do
keep
that.
lighting us up.
It's the second time I've done that today.
Hmm.
But Matthews.
All right. Let's reel this back in here, fellas.
What
Back to goalie talk here. The players that we're talking about, all of them look like starters to me, except for maybe 2. Jake Allen, Jack Campbell's on the list. Now that cap hit, no. John Gibson, Anaheim, starter.
Right.
I think it's
listing these
worth.
guys.
I think it's worth kicking the tires on some of these guys to see what the price is. Like a John Gibson,
Jamie
John
Drysdale
Gibson,
with a
Sam
tall
Ersson.
shoulder?
Right?
John Gibson's like a starting goalie, isn't he?
Yes, but think about it. Anaheim sucks right now. They want to have a fire sale. John Gibson's the guy you trade away because he's probably worth the most. Well, goalie market, but
It's
still.
not gonna happen, dude.
Okay,
We're not
Capo
gonna do it.
Kakinen from San Jose.
No.
Capo
You guys don't
Caco.
know. Oh, Jesus
Someone
Christ.
brought up Jacob Markstrom from Calgary.
Markstrom was on the list as well. So there
I
are
wouldn't mind
quality
him.
goalies out there.
But that's not gonna happen either. You know what
No.
the amount of that they're gonna cost?
Okay.
Right. No,
So-
I agree. I think this backup goalie thing is an off-season move. It's not happening right now.
Okay, so I'll get to the 3 names that I'm
Marty
intrigued
Biron
by
still
if we're going to
around?
make a move at the deadline.
Yeah, he's on Sirius.
Elvis Merzlikins.
Are you talking goalies or just in general, Derek?
I'm talking goalies. I'm talking 3 goalies right now from the list that I just looked up that I'm actually interested in that I think would be worth making a move for a mid-round pick. And that's Elvis Merzlikins, Peter Mrazek, and Karel Vejmelka. And Vejmelka is the guy I would look to take from Arizona.
Let's say hypothetically, I don't know who Vermalka is. Tell me about this man.
So he's a younger goalie, and my ringing memory of him was when he first played the Flyers, his first game against the Flyers, and he looked fantastic. Now he struggled a little bit, but it's also Arizona. They're playing in front of 2,000 people every damn night. So like, I'm not going to put a ton of stock into like how he's playing with Arizona because it's Arizona. But I mean, bring him on for a year as a trial period, see how it does, because obviously it's a completely open-ended situation behind Urson right now. It could be anybody's gig, and that means anybody within the organization, whoever's been drafted and hasn't signed their ELC yet, or someone else out there with another team right now. It could be anybody. Why not get a head start in looking for that and grabbing one of these guys and give them a trial run?
Have you seen that Geico commercial with the walrus in that?
It's like it's a walrus. It's ridiculous.
We could bring in Andy Reid. Why not?
Attaboy, Duncan. I love it. It's a
Okay.
freaking walrus.
Can Andy Reid play goalie? We'll bring him in.
I think my concern, Derek, overall is like I just don't think we're gonna want to give up assets
Agreed.
in
Okay.
any way, shape, or form for
Agreed.
a backup 1-year rental goalie when we know that we have a decent goalie pipeline coming in. We have this this Russian dude who's supposed to be the next coming of, you know,
The other Russian dude.
the other Russian dude who got poisoned. And
Allegedly.
and so like I personally think like while I appreciate the need for a new backup, I think we're stuck with either Peterson or Sandstrom.
Right. I think you're right.
Is what it is.
See, I'm not going to settle for that. I don't know. I don't know.
Kembe,
I'm-
what Mo's doing.
I'm still thinking that we can find a way to not give up anything crazy in the way of assets. Because again, I mentioned like a mid-round pick. One of these guys can likely be had for a mid-round pick. So like in my mind, okay, that's one pick out of, you know, the couple firsts that we'll probably have. And whether that's this year, next year, I don't care what year it is. I think it's at least worth it because again, you have the guys in the pipeline, sure, that's fine. But how much longer are we waiting for these guys? I mean, for all we know, I mean, what, 2 of the guys are Russian, correct? Like, are they ever going to come over? You would assume so.
Isn't one of the guy in like the Finnish league or something? I don't know. One of the guys is
There's Bjornstrom or Bjornsson.
the guy
He's
who's
in
supposed
the
to be dead
CHL.
nasty.
Yeah,
That's
Kolosov.
Kolosov.
There you go.
Yeah, and then there's Zavragin, who's the
Yeah.
other Russian kid, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
Is he? Yeah.
That
two-
Bjornsson kid, I think, isn't
He's
he?
with Brandon
US?
Meeking.
He's in the WHL, yeah.
Yeah, he's the second coming of Ron Hextall. So I don't know. Like I'm
Good
gonna hedge
story.
my bets here. Like I'd like to at least see if we could bring somebody else in because again, you never know when those guys are coming over. You never know if one of them pulls a Gautier and doesn't want to play here, like for whatever reason. Like a lot of variables between now and when they sign their ELC.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like if Briere and company were confident that this team could make a little bit more of a run with just a backup goalie being the sole fix, then we're having a different conversation. But I just think that it's like all we're getting preached is like we're still rebuilding. We're still rebuilding. It
Right.
doesn't. I don't think they're going to give up any assets, and they want to still see like, do they have something in Cal Peterson? Do they have one more year after this with him still on the books?
I think so.
Right. So like there
some
still
sort
is
of
kind of like a figure it out kind of season
Buried
where
under that deal. Ugh.
yeah. I don't know. I just don't think it's gonna happen. And I don't
Right.
think that we'd be willing to part with something to get an actual like upgrade. Like
Okay.
Peter Mrazek sounds great and all, but
Oh,
Been there, done
does
that.
it though? Did we already?
Right.
Did we already
We
kick
did
the
that.
tires on this guy?
He was
We
one of
did.
the 7.
Doesn't sound great.
right.
Or it was 8. I think it was 8, wasn't it?
Whatever it was, he was one of the fucking million goalies that we had that
Jesus.
one season.
Yeah, this is definitely explicit.
Jesus.
Yeah, sorry.
All right,
Okay,
it doesn't
so-
matter. It's more content versus f bombs. Like, trust me, I know this stuff.
True,
We're
yeah.
good.
The ratio
Yeah,
is
yeah.
far
As long as
superior.
we're not talking about like
Stop.
what's happening on OV's
Yeah, let,
screen.
Stop.
All right. Anyways, so we're talking prospects. We're talking, draft capital as well. Getting into what the deadline could look like, and a rumor that has been going around is the potential for Walker and Sealer to be paired in a trade together and traded to a team. And the asking price is apparently a first and a second round pick. So, any of you, and I'll open it to whoever wants to respond first, do any of you see a world in which that happens? Those two get traded as part of one deal?
I
It's gotta
mean,
be no way.
yeah, that'd be crazy. And to me, right? Like if that's the case,
Crazy.
It's spicy.
if that's the case, I want 2 first-round picks. Because
Right, that's what I'm saying. I want 2 firsts. Yeah.
If you're gonna get my best pair, yeah, 2 firsts.
Okay.
Right.
All right. So to kind of elaborate on it, and what I've seen is that the report is 2 teams are interested in something like this, and one of them appears to be Dallas. I don't know what their situation looks like in regards to the draft. I would assume they have their first round pick, but I don't know. I mean, maybe we just call it even, split it down the middle. One team gets Walker, one team gets Sealer, and hey, cool, we get 2 first round picks.
I mean, I really want to keep these guys. I'm
too?
more. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm never confident about defensemen. Turning into something like prospect defensemen always worry me. So
Ever
I just
since
feel like
the Sanheim, Haig, Morin days.
So I just feel like
It's that
we
picture
have
for
something
me.
good.
Yeah, I feel the I feel like that's too good to be true, quite frankly. Like
Right.
I don't think that we're gonna end up doing that. I can see Walker being moved, and I'd be like, that sucks. He was great, but like I understand that move.
Sure.
I don't want to see Sealer moved, quite frankly.
Agreed.
I think he brings something a little bit different. Walker, I think, is faded into the pack a little bit more. And despite the fact I was throwing the remote at the TV at the stall, what's his name? Mark Stahl.
Mhm.
Eric Stahl. What Stahl do we
Mark.
have?
Mark.
Mark Stahl today. Like that guy was on the ice for every goal, I felt like. But
He's miserable.
I don't know. I just feel like we can move on from Walker and get something. We're not going to get anything better for him at any point in time, unless you have. No, I'm talking Walker.
Oh, okay.
And unless we have like legit intentions of re-signing this guy, which I don't think we should as a 28 or 29-year-old.
Right.
I think you got to pull the ripcord on him.
Unless you're planning to get rid of Ristolainen.
Right.
If
Who's going to touch Risto right now?
Sure. No, I know.
There's
know.
been a
I'm
lot
just
of
saying,
interest. His name pops
someone
up,
could.
but it's definitely a tough.
The guy
ask
needs to
move.
prove he can skate a shift right now. Like
Right. Yeah, it's
Someone's
a tough
gonna be
ask because of
intrigued.
his contract and term too.
And the
Right.
Drysdale thing today,
Again, Chuck.
like this throws a whole curveball into the
Mhm.
into the trade stuff.
Well, someone pointed out too that he tore his labrum. I think it was back in 2022, and I believe it's the same shoulder that
Amazing.
he tore
Right.
his labrum in. So, like, I mean, right there, that's not encouraging. And you hope that it's not an actual beginning or at least continuation of the injury concerns. Obviously, we're all concerned right now. We want to make sure he's okay and he can continue to play.
Yeah.
But
No, I want to win games. Like, tell me if this guy's gonna be good.
Jesus.
Like,
Honestly, that's been the difference in the past 2 games is we've been missing TK, and
I mean, I'm not going to
that's a
disagree
big
by
question
any
mark.
means.
Right.
Yeah. Now they're saying he may be back this week.
hold
I
on,
mean,
TK or Drysdale? What are we talking
connect me.
about? Okay.
I just threw it in as a part of
Right.
the
Injury talk. It's yeah. I'll allow it. But
we
I don't know.
so we have Drysdale hurt. We have Ristolainen hurt. Theoretically coming back in a week.
I think it
Best case
was
scenario.
I've seen that story before.
because that was like a month. Yeah.
Yeah.
Haven't we all?
Ellis is still coming back next week, isn't he?
Day to
I
day.
was trying to think of his
Day-to-day.
name. I'm not kidding you. Alice is like sitting there at the Beaches Resort down in Jamaica, like Fanny's gonna be like, oh wait, they still want me up there? Well, that's crazy. But I do think the Drysdale thing throws a wrench into any potential defensive move. I still think we do it because we can have Zamula, who didn't play tonight, Mark Stahl, who was terrible, but you know what? I'll take him. Bring up my boy Belpedio. That guy's the
He's
hidden
hurt.
link. And if Risto gets back, then you get him in. I think you got to move Walker at this point.
We had this same conversation last week, John and I, about Cam York because he was hurt in the Stadium Series game, if I'm not mistaken. Was it the Stadium Series game or the game before? It was the game before the Stadium Series game. And we had the same discussion because we're like, oh, crap, does this impact how we approach the deadline? And John brought up an interesting point, and he said it didn't. And, I mean, Do you still feel that way now that it's Drysdale and also compounding that with Ristolainen?
Right.
Any other injuries that could happen? I mean, Christ.
I don't, because I think that like they're only trading these guys if they're wowed in deals anyway. You know, and I think that it's like no matter what the circumstance is, it's just going to be like, okay, if we're going to get a first round pick for Walker, then we're going to take it.
Yep.
I don't care who's going to be playing defense for us. Like,
Right.
Okay.
yeah,
All
I don't
right.
think it changes.
Hoagie, any final thoughts on this?
We also don't have any like guys in the AHL that are really knocking on the door to make the lineup.
Mhm.
Like,
there's a few that are worth a call up, but like they're not.
yeah, but they're not going to be playing productive hockey when we're playing for playoff spots. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, I'd still like to see Adert up for a little bit. I mean, even like I know Andrea had some rough times up here, at the beginning of the season. But I mean, I don't know. I think it's worth a shot. Bringing up
Belpedio or bust.
I do like Belpedio.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah. I just
How did we go from icing 7 defensemen to like 4 today?
Right. Today would have been a great day to ice 7 defensemen with Drysdale going down.
Right.
And we iced 6. Great call,
Tortorella.
Tortorella.
Baby.
He had the best game of his career tonight. I will say. That
was a great assist.
I'm not bullshitting. He had a great game.
Before they credited Sanheim with that goal, that was a great assist to Lawton there to get that puck to him, because I mean he was essentially falling. I think he was on his ass or on his knees or something, and he still got Lawton the puck. Like that was a great play.
Right.
Yep. Yeah. All right, gentlemen. Anything that we want to add to this conversation before we put a bow on it?
This one was wonderful.
I got one. Oh, I got one.
Oh.
I think we need a spark. And you guys are going to laugh in my face.
I can't wait.
We need the spark that
Forster
brought us last year. Bring up Bobby Brink. I think we
have to do it.
Yeah. I like it.
I think we have to do it. And right now we have a solid third line, which should probably be a fourth line. A fourth line that should probably be retired. But I think this team needs to have get grabbed by the neck and shaken a little bit. And I think Bobby Brink may be the guy to do it. Maybe there's somebody else that I'm not as privy to in the AHL that we have, but I think Brink needs.
He makes the most sense.
Come on down.
Who comes out though?
Delorier, I guess. I don't care.
What the hell is that guy at this point anyway? Just a
that was entertaining yesterday. That was a fun fight.
Sure. Yes.
That's what it is. That was entertainment.
That was an amazing fight.
That was probably one of the best fights I've ever seen. I'll be completely honest.
Well, Hoagie, Forster's knee may be the size of a grapefruit at this point. Who knows?
After taking that shot today, yeah.
Yeah, that was not pretty.
What about
it's just tough because you pull Lexell.
I know. Lexell.
Yeah. But everybody thought that Brink would be.
For God's sakes, what did he do today?
I don't know.
Silence tells you all you need to know.
I would like to say that too. Is that Frost? What the hell's his name? Ginger. Why can't I think Tippett? And Atkinson, they have disappeared.
That's who sits. Cam Atkinson.
He needs to go. Honestly, I forgot about him.
Completely disengaged. Like that first shift, man. I'm thinking this guy doesn't even want to be out there right now.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah, I give him a restart.
I think that back surgery really screwed him.
Whatever
it was.
He was playing well for like 2 games, like in the middle of this season, and then it's just reverting back to how he was, and like it's so good call, Hoagie. Our buddy Antigrazio saying Atkinson needs to retire. I don't think he's wrong. I don't.
I think he'd be great on a playoff team. We should trade him. Go.
Yep.
Go. Do it.
That might. He's going to Boston with JVR.
He's going to Winnipeg. Go.
Yeah. Have fun with the tickets. All right. We're putting a bow on this, gentlemen. So, Hoagie, let them know where they're going to be able to find you.
Pod Street Hogs on the X app.
At Grant McCagg.
McCagg these
You've been
nuts.
sitting on that one for a half hour.
All right. Casey.
Pod Street Casey, I think.
Pod Street Casey. All right.
On X.
On X. All right. John's not on X, so, whatever.
At McCagg. Bag of McCagg.
Bag McCagg. All right. I'm on
Put
Twitter.
it in the McCagg.
I'm on X at Pod Street Bob. We're all on Twitter. X, whatever. I keep saying that. Pod Street Bullies. Check out our affiliates as well. Flyers High and Wide. They're on Twitter at Flyers HW. The 5 Minute Major Podcast too. They're on X at 5 Minute Major Pod. Fellas, ladies, everybody listening. Until next week. Let's go Flyers.
Bye now.
Bye now.
On X.
Ooh, John just beat you out.